Hi, I'm Michelle and welcome back to Somewhere in Bookland. This is my May book haul and it's slightly less than my last couple book hauls have been, which I'm proud of, but I should probably try and get it a little lower because it's still 13 books. So let's get into it. The first book I got, I won from a publisher in exchange for a review, and it was actually waiting on my doorstep when I got home from Yallwest, so that was exciting. And that is Lies You Never Told Me by Jennifer Donaldson. This book follows Gabe and Elise and is told in parallel narratives. And Elise is super shy and she gets cast as the lead in her school's play Romeo and Juliet. And her best friend Bran's usually the star, and Elise isn't sure she's up to the task. And then someone at the rehearsals catches her eye. And Gabe is dating this really popular headstrong girl, Sasha, and he's contemplating breaking up with her. It follows Elise and Gabe falling for the wrong people, and it seems interesting. When I first heard the title of the book, I thought it was going to be like a murder thriller type thing, but I think it's more romance? I don't know. The next book I got was a pre-order, and I still haven't read it yet because I've heard mixed things about it, and that is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. And this is a novella. It's like 3.5, and I liked 1, and then I read number 2, and I loved number 2, and then I read number 3, and it was okay. And I kind of want to, I heard it's a nice little glimpse in the world to kind of set you up for the next set that's gonna follow after it. But I haven't read it yet, so I really have to read it. The next book I got was also a pre-order, and it came a little damaged on the cover and it made me sad. And that is The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gu. This book follows Clara, who's really into jokes, and her dad sentences her because of one of these jokes to work on the family food truck for the summer. And she's not happy because she was supposed to be spending the summer visiting her mom, who's a social media influencer, and now instead she's going to be working in this hot food truck with her arch nemesis, Rose. But as it goes on, you find out maybe Rose isn't as bad as you thought, and then there's this guy Hamlet that Clara starts maybe crushing on. And I'm excited to read it. I really love I Believe in a Thing Called Love, and so I'm hoping that bodes well for this book as well. The next book I got was also a pre-order, and that was Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welsh. And this is like the second companion novel to Love and Gelato, which I really enjoyed. And this follows this girl Addie who's in Ireland for her aunt's destination wedding, and she's trying to get over a heartbreak of her own. And then she finds this book, The Ireland's Guide for the Heartbroken, and she decides to follow it and finds herself on this whirlwind adventure. And I'm sure this is going to be a quick, cute summary read, and I'll be excited to get around to it when I eventually do. The next 2 books I received from Quirk Books, and they messaged me and asked me if I wanted a couple of books, and I said yes please. And the first book is the new paperback of Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This book is so cute. It's about this girl Elle who's like a super fan of the show called Starfield, which she grew up watching with her late father, and she decides to enter a cosplay contest into Starfield, and Starfield's becoming like a movie with this guy in it, and she doesn't think this guy is a real fan and doesn't think that he should be playing the lead in it. Turns out this guy Darian is a fan, but he's being written off that he's not, and he's supposed to be trying to play it off that he's not. Somehow they end up texting each other, not knowing who the other one is, and then obviously it comes out in the open, and it's a really cute retelling of Cinderella. A cute and nerdy retelling of Cinderella, and I enjoyed it immensely. The next book I got from them was The Astrology of You and Me by Gary Goldschneider, and this is just like astrology and how it deals with different relationships in your life, broken down by sign. The next 2 books I got from Costco, and the first one is The Brothers Grimm 101 Fairy Tales, and I've been wanting to get a copy of some of the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales, so I saw this there and I had to pick it up. And then the next book I got at the same time was The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, and I've seen the movie and it was good. I saw it with my friend. She sang the whole way through. It was good. I would like to read the book, and I would like to rewatch the movie at some point because I haven't seen it except for that one time. The next book I got is a very, like, not gonna say I'm embarrassed of it, but I bought it because it became a Netflix movie, and I watched the movie and I thought the movie was so cute, and I was like, oh, it's based on a book. The book's probably better. And that's The Kissing Booth by Beth Reekles. And the book was okay, but I really do think the movie is super cute. Super cute. Super cute. Every time I think super cute, I think of Amanda Bynes from What I Like About You, where she's like, oh, aren't they just a super cute couple? Super cute, super cute. So that's what I think of. The next book I got was a new release in the month of May, and I purchased the Kindle edition. I pre-ordered the Kindle edition, but then I also purchased the physical edition, and that is Arrogant Devil by R.S. Gray. This book follows this girl, Meredith, who leaves her husband and goes off to Texas and has nothing to her name, and there's this cowboy there named Jack who is a arrogant devil, and it says, I was promised a job as his assistant, he gives me one scrubbing his toilets. And I don't know, I just love R.S. Gray's book. I haven't read this one yet, and I really need to rectify that situation, but I do love R.S. Gray's books. She is my favorite new adult author. The next book I got was a pre-order, and that is Legendary by Stephanie Garber, and it's so pretty, and it's so pretty, oh so pretty, but it's so pretty. Look at, and then it has like a little thaw thing. This is the second book in the Caraval series, and I think it's a companion-ish. I don't think it follows the same girl story. I could be wrong. Like, I think it follows her sister now. But Caraval was amazing, and I'm excited to have this book. And Caraval follows this girl who always wants to go to this magic carnival thing, and she's never been invited, and then she finally gets invited, and they're running away from her dad who's abusive and her future husband. And it was a good book, and I'm excited to have the sequel. The next book I got was a pre-order, and I have already read this book as well, and that is Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. And Casey West is one of my favorite young adult contemporary authors, and this book was cute. It wasn't my favorite, but it was cute, and it has to do with podcasts, and this girl hosts a podcast, and I thought that was so cool. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, so I was like, you go girl, you go. And this next book I won from the publisher, and I have to review it, and that is The Rise of the Superheroes. And I just got this one in the mail a couple days, like 2 days ago, and so I have to read it still. But it's just kind of like the story of how superheroes started becoming like more popular, and it kind of just tells little interesting facts about it, and then does like old comic book clippings and covers and stuff. So it seems like it'd be a really quick read and really interesting because I love comic book movies. So yes, those are the 13 books I got in the month of May. If you like this video, click the little like button. If you want to see more of this face in your feed, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you soon. Bye!